Hello and welcome to the District of Columbia's DC Department of Small and Local Business Development, DSLBD. This is our Money Mondays series, part of our District Capitalized program, and we're very excited to officially kick off our DC Kiva Hub at DSLBD. This session will be followed by a business borrow information session at 3 o'clock. So if you're a business, we hope you can stay till then. If you're not familiar with DSLBD, we're a DC government agency that supports the development, economic growth, and retention of district-based businesses, and that includes DC residents who are exploring entrepreneurship. And we promote the economic development throughout DC's commercial corridors. We do that in several ways, including our Access to Capital program, District Capitalize, which coordinates products, guidance, and ecosystem to support the financing, creation, operation, and growth of DC-based businesses and DC resident entrepreneurs and the partners who are helping them, both lenders and those who provide technical assistance. As you or as a DC business or someone who is supporting a DC business through technical assistance or lending, we feel like we have a number of options in the city, both from the concept stage all the way up to the established stage. We have lines of credit, loans, and grants available through DSLBD, as well as our lenders, our local CDFIs, including Life Asset, Eats Place, LADC, City First Enterprises, and Wakeif, as well as our traditional banks. And through them, as well as other service providers like the DC Main Streets, we're able to offer technical assistance to help businesses apply for, obtain, and repay grants as well as loans. However, there's still ongoing challenges. We do have a lot of options, but there's also a lot of businesses who need help, particularly ones in the early stage, or if they're considered riskier because they're providing a service in the food industry, or because they have a pilot or a pivot they want to do and get funding for, they may have challenges getting funding. If they or their business don't have the best credit history, no collateral, or low or no revenue, that often is a challenge. And for our lenders, they sometimes encounter issues with the business's applications not being of high quality or complete, or they're not quite ready for a loan. And overall processing time can vary depending on how many businesses are looking for funds and the amount of funds that are available out there. So we're glad to have options, but knowing these challenges, DSLBD began exploring some other alternatives and to support our access to capital options. And we landed on Kiva. As you'll see, as we describe what Kiva is, why it's a great option for DC-based businesses. And part of Kiva's loans also includes having a hub. So we'll talk a little today about what this hub entails. It's an ecosystem of financial and technical support made available through DSLBD, Kiva, as well as the DC government trustees and people who are lending to the businesses, be they community lenders or larger organizations that are offering matching funds. And of course, our borrowers, the DC businesses and DC resident entrepreneurs that we're providing this assistance for. So for today's webinar, I'll go through all 7 groups. I'll do a little talking, but most of all, I'll be turning it over to people who are actually working in the Kiva Hub to let you know about their experience with being a borrower, government official, a trustee, managing partner, or a community lender. So I'd like to kick it off with our fearless leader from DSLBD, Director Christy Whitfield, who herself was a business owner and can attest to the challenges of accessing capital. Director Whitfield, are you available to unmute?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Camille. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Wonderful. Well, listen, it is, wow, this has been a labor of love. And I want to thank Camille. I want to thank Kate, Caroline, Shannon, the entire InnoEd team for the lift that has been making Washington, D.C. and DSLBD a Kiva hub. Access to capital is something that we talk about a lot in government, and particularly at DSLBD. And if you are a business owner, you know that getting access to capital is not always the easiest thing to achieve. And we all know that in these extremely atypical times, businesses need atypical solutions. And so, we really were struggling to find nimble, innovative opportunities and solutions for business owners. As a former business owner, I understand that sometimes the solving of today's problem, might have an impact on your credit or the way that a bank loan might be evaluated in the, tomorrow or the next day. And what I love about the Kiva loans and the Kiva hubs is that it really is a nimble tool for entrepreneurs to tell their story, to help people get excited and engaged about business ideas, but then also to build the networks of businesses and entrepreneurs to really help people market and grow the fan base of your business while you are also fertilizing the ground for funding. So government isn't always the place that people come for innovative ideas, but DSLBD and the Bowser administration is really interested in finding interesting opening doors in new and innovative ways. Recovery is not going to be traditional in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else. And I think the Kiva Hub is a testament to the fact that DSLBD and this administration is open to doing things entirely differently. I'm excited about this opportunity. I want people to think about all of the different ways that they can engage and support small businesses. We talk again and again about supporting small business, but people don't always know how. And now we have an easy solution. You know what? Donate $25 and make it a loan or circulate it again and again and know that you're doing something for a business that might not be able to get a traditional loan. Use your training and technical assistance and be a sponsor, be an advocate, be an ambassador for the small business community, making sure that we're connecting people in innovative and different ways and challenging the traditional ways that businesses have had to go to get the kind of support and the lifelines that they need to get the capital and the access to the next phase of business growth. So I am not going to talk for a long time here, but I want to say thank you to my team. Thank you to Kiva for being partners with us on this. And we really look forward to this as the beginning of a long conversation of changing the way we think about who is worthy of credit and support and capital. When we say a rising tide should raise all boats, alternative access to capital is one of the ways that we are going to do it. It has begun already. It will continue, and it will do it, with the support of opportunities and activities like this. So again, congratulations, to our team for doing this, and to all the people on the phone right now for being part of something that is going to be an exciting new era in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Richfield, for your support and for challenging us. We're actually the team that brought this Kiva Hub together is on the Innovation and Equitable Development team, Inno.ed. About a year ago, they began exploring a way to mix it up, a way to pull together the money and the community support to surround businesses. And we landed on Kiva through a lot of exploration by Kate Marin, who you'll meet later, and my colleague Virginia Marie, who began exploring options. And when they did so, they connected with Anne Lufkin-Riano from the Strategic Partnerships at Kiva US. She began helping us explore this a year ago and has been championing and guiding us through the process to today. So we're super appreciative to Anne and her team. And Anne, I invite you to unmute and introduce yourself and share a little bit about Kiva US and how the connection came for DSLBD.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Director Whitfield, and especially Camille and Kate, who have helped make this a reality. And good morning and welcome everyone else. I'm so happy to be here today. Kiva really is a community. We're 1.9 million strong and sometimes referred to as the bank of people. And we enable everyday people like you and I to pool lending contributions of as little as $25 to provide that early stage capital to small business owners around the world. And we have lent about 1.5 billion to date. And here in the US, Camille, would you mind passing my slides as well? Here in the US, Kiva provides direct loans at 0% interest and no fees from 1,000 to 15,000 through crowdfunding. We provide that first step, which is often inaccessible on the capital ladder. And our average loan size in the US is 7,500 and supported by an average of 113 lenders. And as Camille will explain further down in the presentation, Kiva loans do not require collateral or credit scores. Instead, our crowdsourced model determines a borrower's creditworthiness through social underwriting. And the majority of Kiva's borrowers are women, people of color, refugees, the undocumented and formerly incarcerated entrepreneurs who just need an opportunity to start or grow their businesses. For example, this year, while 95% of African American business owners were left behind by PPP loans, Kiva lenders provided that opportunity to small businesses who had encountered obstacles with traditional funding sources, and 49% of businesses funded on Kiva this year were owned by African American entrepreneurs. Washington, D.C. has long been on Kiva's list of priority cities based on the high number of women and minority-owned businesses, as well as insufficient availability of affordable microloans for small businesses. I was fortunate enough to meet Kate and Virginia Marie, and the whole Department of Small and Local Business Development team through the Mayor's Annual Conference, sponsored by the National League of Cities, where cohorts of city leaders come together to solve economic development challenges. So here at Kiva, we are so excited that DSLBD has decided to become the DC Kiva Hub and understands the importance of creating an inclusive access to capital culture in the DC entrepreneurial ecosystem. DSLBD will be the face of Kiva, supporting small business owners through the loan process, as well as the liaison with business advisory organizations, trustees, and other capital providers who can support entrepreneurs with larger loans as their businesses grow. DC residents can build community by lending to one of these local startups, since small businesses are an essential part of the local economy, creating 2 out of every 3 jobs in the US. And the creation of a Kiva hub will provide more than capital. As the economy reopens, Kiva lenders can support their favorite small business by becoming their customers. Like Yolanda on my first slide, a small business owner who used 2 Kiva loans to grow her farm and family store Pollinate in Oakland, California. Community foundations and financial institutions can support the work that the DC Kiva Hub is doing by matching loans and using the platform as a means to promote economic and financial justice. Since Kiva US began in 2011, Kiva has already lent $630,000 to 86 small businesses in the district. As we welcome the new DC Hub, we're optimistic that it will serve at least 50 borrowers per year and source at least $1.2 million in interest-free capital over the next 3 years, based on the track record of similar size cities like Denver and Detroit, which have funded an average of 65 and 45 loans per year, respectively. With that, I'm delighted to have a second hub in the area. We're joined by Baltimore Core in Baltimore, and I'm delighted to hand it off to Camille Nixon, who will serve as the Capital Access Manager for the district and share more details about the DC Hub. Thank you, and we're very excited about working with all of you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for your support and your faith at 1.2 million. I accept that, and we're going to surpass that. So with your help, and also as Anne mentioned, there are hubs worldwide, nationwide, including in Baltimore. So while most of what we're sharing today is for DC-based businesses only, there is help from Kiva wherever you're located. So now I'd like to turn to the next group within the DC Kiva Hub, our borrowers. And as Anne mentioned, while anyone can apply from the district, any business at any stage, it is a system that is encouraging people from all walks of life, all stages, and especially those who may be having challenges accessing capital. A Kiva crowdfunding loan can range from $1,000 to $15,000. The great news is when you apply and get your loan processed, there's no fees. When you're repaying your loan over 1 to 3 years, there is 0% interest rate. I think it's the best deal in town, if not the United States, that have no fees and no interest rate. It's also fairly quick processing. Once you have a completed application, we can review it within 2 weeks. And if you stay later for the borrower session, I'll go deeper into that. And the great news is once your crowdfunding campaign is successful, you get your payment very quickly. This says 2 to 7 days. I'm hearing it's a lot faster than that. It's a great way to start building or rebuilding your credit history, as well as to start moving up the finance ladder so you can get other types of funding from other sources in the future. And it's open to a wide range of businesses, which I'll share in a moment. Here's some more detail to kind of start you understanding the process and the amounts that are available. Again, the range from 1 to 15,000. If you get approved at the lower end, you'll be asked to raise people first. There's a private campaign where you're asked to tap your family and friends and have at least 5 to 10 lenders give at least $25 or more. As you ask and are approved for higher amounts of loans, the number of people you have to raise, your friends and family that you have to have contribute, will get higher, going upwards towards 20 people. And again, the smaller amount of loan, the less months you have to repay and further up the line. Because of COVID, Kiva has adjusted several terms to make it easier for borrowers, including having a grace period before you have to start repaying and making the required number of people that you have to raise for your private campaign fewer. And here's a little bit about that process I started to allude to. When you prepare and apply, the application is fairly short. It's about 30 minutes to an hour, but you may need assistance understanding the process or preparing your online pitch. And that's what DSLBD and our supporters called trustees are here to help you with. So it will take you about an hour. It could take longer if you need more help through the workshops. Once you do submit it, it's 1 to 2 weeks to get approved. DSLBD will be the first reviewer. As the capital access manager, I'll be looking to see if all your fields are filled, if there's any way that you can strengthen your online pitch, and if there's any information that Kiva will be looking for that's missing, so we could help you package that and then send it off to Kiva, where they will review and underwrite your loan. If Kiva approves it and offers you a loan and you accept those terms, you'll start the first of 2 phases of your online campaign. As I just mentioned earlier, there's a private campaign, which is focused more around raising people. Do you have 5+ people that are willing to put $25 into your business? And then you move into the public campaign, where that's open to anyone, DC-based supporters and beyond. And that you need to actually finish raising the funds. So if you got approved for a $5,000 loan, and between your 5 to 10 friends and family, they contribute the first 1,000 in the private campaign. During that last part, the public campaign, you would need to raise the rest of the $4,000. And there are ways that can be expedited through matching funds, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So you have a whole of 45 days to do your entire campaign. Many people do it in less. We have a business borrower who will be speaking shortly, Annette, who can talk about her experience and how fast that went. And the good news is once your campaign's over and you're successful, all your paperwork was done up front. So that money processing, getting the money into your bank is super fast. And then the repayment can last 12 to 36 months. So in general, most people have this whole thing happening in 60 days or less. And we're here at DSLBD to help you make that happen and maybe possibly even faster. So who may apply? We mentioned at all stages, so DC residents who are just exploring or businesses who've been around for a while. Maybe you're looking to pivot or you're looking to pilot a new component of your business model or just general operations and support, particularly due to COVID. These are all businesses and residents who can apply for Kiva. Any stage, any amount of revenue or even no revenue, any credit store. Most types of businesses, I'll go into it deeper, but there's some that are excluded. For instance, if you sell weapons, you would be excluded from this. So we'll talk about that more in the borrower information session. Past bankruptcy is not a prohibition. You'll be able to apply. And also if you've been formally exposed to the justice system, you are also encouraged to apply as well. So now I'd like to invite Ann to unmute. Annette, let's call you Ann. I'm sorry, Annette. Annette Ryan is a DC borrower from about 6 years ago. She's the owner of O Earth Creamery and Bakehouse. And she had a great experience with Kiva. I'd love for her to share it. Hi, Annette.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. So in 2015, I had incorporated my business and had gotten through the licensing and registration process. And I had this great opportunity to possibly begin selling my gluten-free baked goods at farmers markets, but I didn't know how to get from this great opportunity I had to the actualization of that. I didn't have the funds. I didn't have access to capital. I didn't have the sort of credit history or business experience that lenders were looking to have, and I needed to be able to take advantage of this opportunity very quickly. So in lieu of established business credit, I heard about the Kiva loan process and had someone hold my hand through it because I didn't have that credit, and credit was something that made me very sort of anxious and worried. It was helpful for me to have support as I went through that process, and just that reassurance that it was going to work out and it was okay to sort of pursue this opportunity, even though I was nervous that I wouldn't get approved. And I was also anxious or nervous about the prospect of asking family and friends for money, but this idea that I'd be paying it back to them made the prospect of doing that easier. And so I got approved to open the process, did so, and it was a great opportunity for me to let my family and friends know what was happening, and know about this new business I was starting. And it also allowed me to build my community because new people heard about the fundraiser and got involved. From the time we went live to when I was able to raise the funds of $5,000, which to me at the time was an awesome amount of money that would allow me to start my business. It was 2.5 days to raise that $5,000, and the funds were dispersed. We finished on a Wednesday. The funds were dispersed. I got them the next day. They hit my business bank account. I was able to order what I needed, and like in terms of inventory and basic farmers market equipment, tents, tables, etc. And that Sunday, I was at the DuPont Circle Farmers Market selling my goods. So I had a 2-year payback term and was able to pay it back during that time, and then jumped in and got involved, and supported a fellow business owner when they did their Kiva loan. So it was a good experience for me. I'm glad I did it. It allowed me to start my business and very quickly begin generating revenue.
Thanks, Annette. And I didn't hear the part about you helping someone else, which I love, both the community that you rally to support you, and then continue to support you as customers, but also that you in turn help another business consider it as well. And it's definitely something that I think is approachable, although it might be off-putting, maybe concerning to suddenly be asking people for money. So I like to hear that it actually helped you expand your base. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. And just for borrowers, if you're interested or want to hear more before you pursue your Kiva loan, again, we're having an abridged version of our monthly borrower information session at 3 o'clock. If you can't make it, no worries. We'll be doing this every month indefinitely. The next one is June 7th at 3 p.m. So we hope you'll be able to join us. Now, Ann mentioned about building community, and the first community that you'll be working with through your Kiva loan are your friends and family and then the public who will be providing contributions to your loans. So I'll walk you a little bit through that. So community lenders could be anyone. All of us could be community lenders. As our director mentioned, with just $25, you can start your contribution to a loan. You would go online, choose a DC-based borrower, contribute the money electronically, the $25 or more. And then if your business is able to crowdfund enough money for their loan, they're approved for the loan, they get the loan from Kiva. And as they're repaying Kiva over 12 to 36 months, you're getting repaid proportionately. So you'll start seeing the money coming back into your Kiva account as a community lender. And then you could choose to either continue to keep it in your account and reinvest in another DC business, or you could withdraw it. So it's not as much a donation as a temporary micro loan to the businesses that you want to support in your community. And then as they repay, you get your funds back. And what's great about Kiva, they have a really extensive filter, a way that you can support causes that you care about. You can filter down to Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, businesses in certain industries like the food industry, or they have a particular focus, clean energy and sustainability, or the businesses who have been impacted by COVID. There's a wide range of ways that you can narrow down which of the DC-based businesses you'd like to support with your contribution towards their loan. And we're fortunate to have Caroline Howe, who's on our DSLBD Ed team, but it turns out she's a Kiva super fan and she's had past experience as a Kiva lender. And Caroline, I invite you in to share a little bit about that with us.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. So as Camille mentioned, I work on the Innovation and Equitable Development team supporting small businesses. But since 2011, I've been a Kiva lender. And that started essentially when I was moving around a lot, never had the stability to be able to install solar panels on my own facility, my own home, and saw the opportunity to support businesses through a Kiva loan to install solar and have that repayment. So my the first project that I lended to was a solar project. Just double checking, I have my my whole lender portfolio, which you can look and see. So my first project was for a home energy project in Nicaragua. And ever since then, I've continued to relend. In my family for a series of years, we gifted each other the opportunity to make loans and choose them. And so instead of giving each other a holiday present, we gave each other the opportunity to then choose a loan. So that's a beautiful way that Kiva operates, that you can give someone a gift certificate to then make a loan that's meaningful to them. So my loans have covered, as Camille mentioned, really filtered for the things that are most interesting. Here at DSLBD, I support our sustainability businesses and our food and farming businesses. So I've supported 7 farms in Central America, in South and Southeast Asia. I've supported food production and food businesses, bakeries who are looking for that first, both for the space, as Annette mentioned, or for their initial set of inputs. The majority of my loans have been repaid. Some folks were asking, as those loans get repaid, I get an alert and I can choose whether I want to withdraw those funds, relend them, or donate them to Kiva. And so I love the opportunity, and I'm thrilled to have businesses in the local area. For me, the fact that Kiva has been international has been a beautiful way to offer the micro lending in communities where I've had the pleasure to spend time or have family. And so I'm really excited to have them now in my backyard. But to the point, for businesses on the line who are listening, it is an incredible way to engage your community, who, particularly those of us like me, who are not in a position to make you a $5,000 or $10,000 loan, but can make you a $25 loan and take that investment in your business. And if I were closer to the Philippines or Honduras or Nicaragua, I'd be thrilled to support the businesses that I lended to. So I think it's really special to be able to do that for our local businesses. Thanks for the time to share my story today, Camille.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Caroline. I didn't know about the gifting. I want to do that. But I think it's a great way to, it's something, I mean, we have all helped businesses, especially during COVID, in a lot of different ways, through gift certificates, through taking out food, a lot of things. And this is one more way that you can support a business. And there's something I imagine that's addictive to seeing your money come back and then you get to gift it out again and then it's repaid again. So I hope if you're anyone in the DC community, whether you're a small or a larger organization or individual, I hope you'll consider being a community lender. And we have the DC businesses that are coming online in the DC Hub portal. So when they do have campaigns that are open, you can subscribe to our DC Kiva Hub alerts. And then we can send you an alert probably once or twice a month just to let you know when the new DC businesses have campaigns that are going. And then moving forward in the future, you can always just check out kiva.org/lend to find them directly. I'd now like to turn to speaking a little bit about trustees. We spoke about businesses and DC residents who need the funding, and then the community lenders who provide the $25 or more contributions. But to get there, it does take a village. And the DC Kiva Hub trustees are part of that village. These could be nonprofit service providers, incubators, accelerators, DC government agencies, everyone who's helping a business either with technical assistance or other assistance to help them move forward. And I'd like to turn it over to my boss and the manager of Inno.ed, Kate Barron, to speak a little bit about that. Kate?
Thank you so much, Camille, and thank you everyone for being here. As I think you've heard from the rest of DSLBD staff and our partners, that we are so excited to be moving forward. And as we talk about trustees and the important role that trustees play, it's really going to help explain why DSLBD thought it was important to make sure that we were very involved in Kiva. If we could go ahead and go to the next slide. Even before we get to trustees, I think we're going to talk a little bit about some of the support. My slide hasn't turned over yet, but some of the support that is available to you. I'm going to tell you about some of what Camille does, even though she's been on the line chatting, but also some of what the rest of our team does and then what our partners do as well. So we think that it is very important for businesses to be able to access capital. We want Kiva and other options to be available to you. We also want to make sure that the rest of your business is working well as well. And so DSLBD provides all sorts of support for businesses, and the Innovation and Equitable Development Division provides one-on-one technical assistance directly and then through referral partners to any DC-based business or entrepreneur at any stage. And so the first thing that we'll mention about sort of getting smart and getting all the information about money in your business, Camille has launched a series called Money Mondays. Every Monday, unless it's a holiday, she's going to be running a workshop on all sorts of different topics related to money in your business. And so some of that might be topics about how to get a Kiva loan. Sometimes it might be topics about other loans or just about money management. And so you can see that on our Eventbrite, and you can sign up for those regularly. But that is a training. You can also get one-on-one assistance. And so if you are applying or thinking about applying for Kiva, Camille can do one-on-one meetings with you. You can see that her email address is here. You can also always reach her at our team email address, which is inno.ed@dc.gov. And this link here that says bookings. You'll actually find, at least at this time, 4 booking options where you can schedule a 30-minute one-on-one call with any one member of the Inno.ed team. And you can schedule those as often as you like. And what we'll do is we'll meet you where you are. We'll think about where you are in your business and what are the resources that you're looking for next. That'll include referrals to some of our great partners across the district who do a ton to support small and local businesses. If we want to move to the next slide. And so the trustees for Kiva are those same partners, or we hope that they will become trustees. Let me put it that way. And so DC is filled with a lot of rich resources for small businesses. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes there are too many organizations to support for people to be able to easily find them, but we highly recommend that you just keep looking for that support. Ask for us for how to connect. You'll see some that are already listed here. Many of them are on the call today, whether it is the Women's Business Center, which is funded through the SBA, SCORE, which is also funded through the SBA, some of the different accelerators, some of our Main Street organizations, all sorts of different nonprofits can help you with your business. And if they become a trustee, it can help your application move faster within the Kiva process. And so this can be for nonprofit service providers, incubators, accelerators, other agencies. And so what they do is they refer borrowers to the hub. And then they're going to help with application prep, and it's usually, you know, help that is very similar to things that they're already doing. And then they help endorse those borrowers and help get the word out that you are raising funds. And so the trustee network is critical and required for a hub to really grow and for it to really work. And so we are so excited about all the resources that are here in DC and look forward to continuing to onboard more trustees. There are already several that are here in the district, and continue to build that pipeline and continue to build that network. Can we go to the next slide? So why would a trustee organization do this? Many of them are trying to help their businesses grow, and so that can help go ahead and build out for them the pipeline of businesses they have that are growing. It is also a way for them to be able to show all of the work that they're doing. They can quantify the impact of their access to capital efforts as they're helping people. They can put numbers to that, and it can help their businesses get exposure to more than 1 million viewers, people who are learning about these businesses, both here in DC, but also US wide and sometimes internationally. And with that, I really want to introduce a wonderful trustee and organization that is here in the district. They have been providing support through Kiva as a trustee for a while. I would like to introduce the CEO and co-founder of Union Kitchen, Colin Gilchrist.
Hey there. Thanks, Kate. Really appreciate you introducing me, and thanks to Camille, Christy, and Caroline for having me here. And also Anna and Annette, thank you for sharing as well. I am I'll start with I am a Kiva super fan as well. I'll tell you about Union Kitchen, but first I've been a recipient of a loan when we got started. We started our business with I think $1,000 cash and a Kiva loan. I have been a lender many times over, and I can certainly attest to the joy of putting money into someone, seeing them succeed. They return the money, and then you get the opportunity to invest that and lend that to someone else. And when I say invest, kind of invest into this community, which is exciting. And then, of course, we're a trustee. And being a trustee is obviously very exciting because we get to be at the kind of the center of a community. And that's kind of the whole point to me of Kiva, is that with community, which we're all working so hard to create, with this community, we can support each other, and we can vet each other, and we can provide that sort of credit that the financial industry doesn't always provide for us. And I think for small businesses, that's so critical. There's a lot of holes in how a business is funded and how capitalism works right now. And Kiva has been an absolute tremendous resource, and we're really proud of all the different ways we've engaged with it, but certainly as a trustee. We have recommended Kiva to hundreds of local businesses here in DC and around the world as we've kind of done some other projects. Of course, our focus is on DC. And I guess to speak to that, Union Kitchen, of which I am the CEO, is a food business accelerator. And what that means is we want to start and build successful food businesses. We think that makes a huge difference in building our community, in building our city, and building our region by creating entrepreneurs that make something. They manufacture it, they make jobs, they make revenue, they pay taxes, and they bring a culture that is both diverse and vibrant to our city. And that's super exciting, right? And that's what we are trying to build every day, trying to find the many ways to do it and all the things that we stumble across. The way we're doing it, of course, we have a facility, a kitchen here in DC, stores, distribution. But as we relate to Kiva, the ability to find capital is so critical. And maybe Anne, you can check the facts on this, but I think we started using it in 2012, and it's one of the first and most important things that we take with people to do. So in terms of being a trustee, what we think of as our role is to, in the same way we're trying to curate and build a community that reflects our values, we're then trying to tell others that is in fact the case, that we trust these people as their trustee, that we expect them to abide by kind of the rules and the standards of this community, and to do their best to go about building a successful business that will be successful based upon this initial capital that's being put into them. So huge fan. If there's anything I can do to kind of help anyone here, or certainly to kind of promote the story of Kiva, and of course, this awesome new initiative that you guys are putting on through the city and through DC, I'm here for it. I think this is one of the best things that can really invigorate a local small business economy. So thank you to Kiva, and thank you to DC and ED for helping kind of tell the story and push it forward, and let's build some cool businesses.
Thank you, Cullen. And I think he's being a bit humble. Since you started with Kiva, Cullen, do you know how much you've contributed through your businesses? $350,000 in loans have come out of the many businesses that have come through referrals from you as a trustee. So I think it's great that you've integrated referring people and supporting them in their Kiva loan application as part of your approach to nurturing and accelerating their business. And it's grown. A lot of those businesses have moved on out of your space to open local DC businesses that are operating nationwide. So it's one thing to go for a loan, but to have that wraparound support from our trustees, accelerators, or nonprofit organizations, or even DC government agencies is critical to helping the businesses both at the time of application, but also through the life cycle of the loan moving into repayment. So I appreciate you joining us today, Cullen. And if your organization, agency, accelerator, incubator who might be interested in becoming a trustee, we encourage you to join us for our information session, which is a week from Wednesday at 3 p.m. You can also contact me, camille.nixon@dc.gov, or check out the information on kiva.org/trustees, which will give you a great overview about what it is to be a trustee. And speaking of DC government agencies, you have a possibility of wearing two hats, both that of a trustee and possibly as a matching fund lender, which I'll speak about in a moment. As a trustee, DC government agencies could be part of the pipeline getting businesses to access capital. And these could be businesses that just reach out to you, or they're already your clients, perhaps as a grantee. A great thing about Kiva is that you could also use it as a stacking mechanism. Perhaps a business that comes through you for a grant could be encouraged to also go after a Kiva loan, or that you're giving grants to businesses who have already received Kiva loans because they're demonstrating and buying into their own business by going after a loan. A lot of the questions that you may be asking of your grantee clients are the same that Kiva is asking. So it's an easy transition for your grantee clients to apply for a Kiva loan using the same information from your application. And then finally, it's a chance to quantify your efforts, both as access to capital for your clients, but also the intra-agency coordination. In Philadelphia, their Department of Commerce is part of their Kiva trustee group. And they've had great success using that as well. Another role that DC government agencies, as well as banks, organizations, or companies may want to consider are matching fund lenders, the last but one of the more important groups of the DC Kiva Hub. So matching funds sounds a lot like what the name is, that there will be a borrower who is looking for funds, and they go after their community lenders and encourage them to contribute friends, family, and beyond to their campaign. But if you are a matching fund lender and you define the criteria and you put that into a pool of funds at Kiva, it will be automatically matched to businesses who meet that criteria. It could be based on where they're located, all DC-based businesses. It could be all DC-based businesses who are food businesses, who are Hispanic-owned, who are working through COVID. It could be any number of criteria that you want to establish. And then Kiva will automatically make that match for you. And there'll be a badge on the profile indicating that you are contributing to this campaign. In this case, for this gentleman who was, his campaign's running in Puerto Rico right now, LISC donated funds for matching as well as Wells Fargo, and they get the indication at the bottom of Wilfredo's campaign, as well as they're able to quantify the impact of their contribution over time. Again, you can identify which businesses you want to support, quantify your impact, get public recognition, both on the kiva.org site through the badge, but also through e-blasts that go out to the community, alerting people that your organization has a matching fund that's out there. Tax deductions always nice, but you'll have the extra confidence that the borrowers that you're working with, that you're contributing funds to, have that wraparound support through the application, through the repayment cycle, that your funds will be available to help them, and the added benefit that you don't have to administer the funds yourself. You get the quantitative and public recognition for your efforts without having to manage the funds directly. Kiva will take care of that, all of that for you. And I'd like to invite in a very prolific Kiva lender, LISC, who's Adam Kent, the Deputy Director at LISC DC's office, is on the line. I'd love for you to unmute and let us know about your experience with LISC and being a matching fund lender. Adam?
Thanks so much, Camille. And hi, everybody. My name's Adam Kent. I'm the Deputy Director in the DC office of LISC. LISC stands for the Local Initiative Support Corporation. So we are a community development financial institution that have been operating in the DC region for almost 40 years now. And our whole purpose, we're a nonprofit organization. Our whole purpose is to support projects and small businesses and entrepreneurs in underserved communities. And we do a lot of work in DC. And our organization, we're a national organization, and we've partnered with Kiva for a number of years now, providing a direct Kiva match, just as Camille outlined, where basically we make it easier for you as a business owner to raise those Kiva dollars, those crowd-funded dollars. So if you're looking to raise a $10,000 loan, and you work with us and we provide a match, in the crowd, you really only have to raise 5 because we'll be coming in and matching with another 5. And those, one of the typical questions we get is, well, am I repaying then a $5,000 loan or a $10,000 loan? You're still repaying a $10,000 loan, but it makes it easier for you to raise that money through the Kiva, through your Kiva profile. And we've done a couple of, we've supported a couple of small businesses here in the DC region. Village Cafe over near Union Market. Kevon and his team opened up a little over a year ago. And we provide, the Kiva loan was provided some critical startup capital for his business. And then we've also worked with Southeastern Roastery, which is a local coffee roaster here in the district. A couple of maybe just pieces of advice, what we've seen as small businesses are trying to work on the Kiva portal is the creation of your profile and the clarity of it is really important. Including pictures goes a long way to help raise crowd funds. Being very communicative on the Kiva portal and responding to people that invest in your business and providing updates is a great way to drive more eyes to your website. And then finally, that initial funding stage before you go live on the Kiva website to the whole world, if you build up momentum and have a lot of people contributing the $25 or the $50 loans in that private fundraising stage, you come out of the gate really strong, and those projects are actually prioritized through the algorithm on Kiva's website to show up higher in the list. And so coming out of the gate with a lot of momentum into the public fundraising stage will be a benefit in order to get more eyes on your project. So again, we provide the match here in DC. We're a nonprofit organization, so we have kind of key metrics and mission-based criteria that a small business needs to hit in order to qualify for our match. But if you have any questions, feel free to go to our website and reach out to us. My colleague Brian Franklin is the point person on our team that works with Kiva. So it's a great tool that we've seen. 0% interest loans are hard to find, and Kiva is a great tool for your business. So thanks a lot, Camille.
Thank you, Adam, both for the continued support through LIST, through Kiva, and other mechanisms for DC businesses. And also for those great tips. It's almost like I fed you that information to say, but I didn't. But it's true, and you'll hear in our bar information session, which is coming up fairly shortly, that your online pitch is everything and might feel overwhelming, but we have a lot of ways to break that down for you and make it easier. Thanks again, Adam. And if you've heard something about matching funds that's of interest to you, again, if you're an organization, company, DC agency, and like to learn more, please contact me, Camille.Nixon@dc.gov, and I will connect with Anne, and we can have a conversation, the three of us, to see if it's something that might work for you now or in the future. And there's also a lot of great information on Kiva's website about loan matching. So we're squeaking barely in on time. It feels like a whirlwind of tour of the DC Kiva Hub. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about it and hearing from people who are actually working in the hub. I'd like to encourage you to go through the next steps, whether you're a borrower, to get started at dslbd.dc.gov/DC Kiva Hub, attend our workshops, meet with me and the Inno.ed team, sign up for our alerts. We're having workshops scheduled all the time for Kiva and other access to capital opportunities. Again, we'll be starting a borrower information shortly and having it every month if you can't make it today. We do a lot of deep dive into those parts of the pitch that Adam had mentioned. Next week, we're doing one on specifically a part about the loan use statement and saying how you're going to use your loan. So that'll be next Monday at 3 o'clock. The following week, we're moving Mondays to Wednesday because of the holiday. We'll do a deep dive again into photos, which is really important. I think it might be the #1 thing on your profile to have that as effective as possible. And then we'll wrap up in June with a Kiva loan application live demo. This is a line by line for you as a borrower to see not only what Kiva is asking for in each field, but some tips on how to complete it so that you're conveying your message to Kiva so it's easier for them to review and approve your loan request. For community lenders, again, we're gearing up to have DC borrowers in the system very soon. So sign up for our alerts and we'll let you know when they're online. And for trustees and matching fund persons who are of organizations, please reach out to us. And for trustees, we're having an information session next week on the 26th at 3 o'clock if you'd like to learn as a group about it, or just reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to talk you through that. Kate covered some of the other services available and assistance from Inno.ed. As well as we have the DC Business Toolkit. It's an online portal that centralizes information from DSLBD, other agencies, and service providers all in one place, including the citywide business calendar. And it's free to use, but if you do sign up for the free user, user account, either as a business or organization, you'll have added benefits of connecting with businesses, B2B, or if you're an organization, you can add your content directly. We've just touched the surface of a whole variety of services that DSLBD offers. We encourage you to visit us at dslbd.dc.gov to check our CBE program, our Made in DC program, our DC Main Streets program, and DC PTAC for contracting. I will stop there and we can start fielding some questions. And thank you for those who are able to stay. If you have to leave or not, we'll be sharing the recording with answers to the questions and also the slides as well. But I hope you'll be able to stay on.
Camille, just to share, we've had several questions that have come up in the chat throughout, and I've just posted those back in if you want to work through those, and we'll keep an eye on any additional ones that come in.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kate. So yes, we will be sending out the deck, and there's a lot of great conversations in the chat. I was trying to side-eye it while we were talking. So both the links to resources, including to the speakers who presented today, and any information that you shared with each other, we'll be happy to share that afterwards. I usually put it at the end of the presentation slide, so that'll be available to you in a way that you can click through easily. Thanks, Rob. Let's see. Does DC Kiva Hub maintain a public list of companies and organizations receiving funding and loans? And is it just in the US? Oh, there are a couple of questions. I'll start with the first one. Yes, it's actually kiva.org, the portal. Maintains a list of people who had a crowdfunding campaign and either closed on it, they were successful and raised their funds, or maybe they weren't. But those are all public, as well as the live campaigns that are going on. So anyone who gets approved to go out for a loan on the crowdfunding campaign, crowdfunding website for kiva.org, that's visible if you get the loan or even if you don't get the loan, people will be able to see that. And is it just in the US? Actually, no, since 2005, Kiva has been working worldwide. Actually, the US only represents about 10% of their portfolio. It's a strong 10%, but they've been doing this worldwide for about 15 years. I think they're closing in on $4 billion in loans awarded to businesses, micro businesses, as well as established businesses too. Can one leverage a Kiva loan with another crowdfunding source? Absolutely. It would be nice if you get all the money you need from one place, but that often doesn't happen. So you can use our crowdfunding loan through Kiva, DC Kiva Hub. We'll also, through your consultations, talk to you about how to finance the rest of your needs. It could be that you apply for a Kiva loan for a higher amount and you're approved for a lower amount, but that doesn't mean you won't get help finding the money to make up the difference. So we're definitely about finding how to diversify your financing portfolio with grants, loans, and other resources. How is this funded? Are funders basically donating the money? So actually when lenders, be they individual community lenders like Caroline or matching fund lenders like Adam with LISC DC, it's a contribution. As you contribute, the money is crowdsourced, and then if it meets the minimum requirement for the business, say they're going for a $5,000 loan, and they're able to crowdsource from community lenders as well as matching funds, that $5,000, as they start to repay it, everyone who contributed to that campaign will get that money back proportionately. So you might see $1 appear in your account, another $1, and by the time the business has finished repaying their loan, you've received your full contribution back. So it's not a donation, it's just an investment in a business that you can get returned to you over time. I believe that the loan repayment is 97%. Oh, someone was asking if the loan repayment is 97%. Anne, it's around averaging 97%. Yes, okay. Oh, unmute Anne.
I can take that question, Camille.
Thank you.
Internationally, our repayment rate's about 97%. In the US, it hovers more around 80%. And we actually kind of view this as more of a 80% success rate rather than 80% repayment rate. Lots of the businesses that we loan to in the US really appreciate the opportunity that this is kind of impact first capital. And lots of these businesses are businesses that frankly, even CDFIs generally wouldn't lend to because they consider them potentially too risky to be on their books. So with 80% of the loans repaying in the US, we really view that as a success rate. In areas where we have hubs, we generally see a much higher repayment rate, like 90%. And I'll just also mention at this point that we do have 40 hubs across 39 hubs across the United States now, including DC. So we have support where those entrepreneurs receive support, and we do see much higher repayment rates, specifically in those areas.
Thank you. And just to pause for a moment, we're at the time where we're scheduled to begin the borrower information session. We're going to continue to go through the questions. A lot of them are related to borrowers' questions about using Kiva Hub. But if you're just joining us, welcome. The borrower information session will start shortly just after the Q&A. And Anne, actually, I have another question I think would be up your alley. Let me scroll back to it. The question is, how is this funded? I'm sorry. The question is, how does Kiva make money? How will it benefit from giving loans?
So basically, Kiva receives local and national donations, and there's also a tipping function on our website that helps support Kiva as a nonprofit. And we, the primary way that we will benefit by giving more loans is bringing more lenders to our platform who are lending to these new businesses as they come on the platform.
Thanks, Anne. And I think you mentioned at the top, but just to remind everyone, this is a nonprofit organization, so it's similar to other nonprofits that their effort is around the promotion of businesses and support and sustaining of local businesses.
Correct.
Okay. The next question that came in What kind of businesses are prioritized, if any? So it is open to businesses in DC of all stages, so startups all the way up to established. Um, Kiva does have a system where, depending on elements of your business or you as an owner are considered to be often a barrier to financing, they may give you a higher score, which may affect having a longer time to repay and may affect having a higher amount. But any business in the district or DC resident exploring entrepreneurship can apply, but there is some encouragement, especially for people who have been locked out of financing traditionally.
Yeah, Camille, I just want to add though, the
Please.
Kiva really recognizes that right now we say that all businesses are really eligible to apply, as many small business owners are kind of pivoting their businesses to find new strategies to sort of survive the pandemic. So we welcome applications from everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, and with the no revenue or low revenue and the any credit score, that really opens it up to businesses who have been around for a while and maybe need to pivot or are struggling because of COVID, which brings me to another question. If the company has already been established for several years, but starting a new venture within the company, will they still be eligible for the loan? Absolutely. We love and encourage people, especially if COVID hasn't shown us anything, it's time to pause, think, and maybe pivot to diversify the products and services that you're offering and keep current with demands of your current customer base, plus affinity customers that may not have considered you before. But sometimes that's an area where the lender might want you to stay in your lane, what you have demonstrated to get revenue on in the past, and they may shy away from you pivoting to a new pilot or a new product line, but Kiva doesn't. Kiva encourages you to apply and use the loan funds perhaps towards your pivoting and trying that new space, whether it's a service or a product. So yes, established businesses trying something new are encouraged to apply. When can you begin the application? You can begin the application at the end of the sentence. You can start at any time, and we have a whole range of assistance to help you one-on-one as far as workshops. You don't have to wait for that. You can start your application today. You might want to come to the borrower information session or listen to the recording when we send it out. That might help you move along faster. But yeah, you can start at any time. It's something where you can save and come back to. So it's ideal to have all your information ready to go at one time, but you can start right now if you'd like. Let's see. Oops, my screen just skipped one moment. There we go. Well, DSLBD, looking at the geographic diversity of trustees, thinking specifically about accessibility of the trustee who supports Ward 7 and 8 entrepreneurs. Absolutely. In our efforts to try to engage all businesses, it means that we have efforts that might be increased and diversified depending on who we're trying to target. So we want Ward 7 and 8 businesses to come in, and we'll be looking for trustees who can support us in that. We want businesses of all types and stages. So yes to that question. But for the next meeting, if you're joining us here for the borrower information session, there is not a separate login. Just stay right here. We should be wrapping this up in a few minutes, the Q&A session, and we'll start with the borrower session. And I'll have you out by 3:30, I promise. Is there a written step-by-step guide for the application to start and finish? Yes. And my colleague Vinny put in the chat earlier, kiva.org/borrower will give you a great guide step-by-step. And there's a lot more links on there than you may realize when looking at it. So basically, if you click anywhere, it'll give you a deeper dive into that topic, whether it's the photo part, the loan use part. So feel free to check out kiva.org/borrower for more information, specifically in writing. We had a couple more to go. Let's see. Is there interest on the loan for the lender or for the recipient? And what is the repayment plan? There is 0% interest when you're repaying your loan. Also, when you apply, you are not charged the fees, 0 fees during the application or during the repayment period. And then community lenders are not charged anything. Anne mentioned a few minutes ago that if you want, in addition to giving your contribution, say $25 towards a business's loan campaign, if you wanted to provide a donation on top of that, you can, but that's completely optional. So there's no fees to either the borrower or to the lenders, and the loans are 0% interest. And the payment plan depends on the size of your loan. So if you have a smaller loan, say closer to the $1,000 amount, your payment time to repay would range from maybe 12 months to 24 months. And that's after a grace period that Kiva has instated during COVID. That means once you get your loan award, you'll have a buffer of time before you even have to start repaying. But once that repayment period starts, it's smaller, closer to a year for the smaller amount loans, and then closer to 3 years for the larger loans, close to $15,000. And the payments happen online through a bank account that you've designated with Kiva. You can transfer money, and we can go a little bit more into that during the borrower information session. It looks like that's it for questions in the chat. Any other questions that came through email, or we have a few, if you want, in a few moments to unmute yourself and ask questions. If not, we will say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for asking your questions and for listening to the opportunity to participate in the hub as a borrower, as a lender, as a trustee. We appreciate your attendance. We're going to pause for a quick second to take a picture of the gallery of people, and then we'll jump right into the borrower information session. We won't be doing the business networking. I'm going to stop sharing so we can take the quick picture. Okay, Kate, we're ready when you are.
I'm not seeing a lot of.
Oh, I think I see. I don't know if you look unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes. Okay, there you go. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not able to see all of the videos. I must be having a
Okay.
internet issue. Oh, here it's coming in.
I
Okay.
said, because we could use Photoshop.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Smile.
Do one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kate. And thanks everyone for joining. I see some Kiva cams from other states. Thank you for joining as well. So we're going to dive right into the borrower information session. This is the abridged version. So if I'm talking too fast or you want the deeper full version, which actually the full version covers a lot of what we talked about during the hub presentation, the kickoff presentation, but that'll be on June 7th. So let me go ahead and cue that back up. And Kate, you can stop the recording if you'd like.